In the spotlight tonight is Ruth Atkin from Watford, a retired marketing research consultant. Her specialist subject is Philip Pulman's Dark Materials Trilogy. Mike Smith from Golka near Huddersfield, a Baptist minister. His subject, Western Europe in the Dark Ages from 400 to 800. And David Radcliffe from Cambridge, a software engineer, and his subject, the life and music of George Gershwin. And Jim Cook from Starport-on-Severn, a factory worker whose subject is US manned spaceflight from 1961 to 1975. Hello, I'm John Humphreys and welcome to Mastermind, the contest that tests knowledge under extreme pressure. Our contenders get two opportunities to show how much they know. First, 2 minutes on their specialist subject and then another 2 minutes on general knowledge. The winner of this contest will go through to the next round with a chance to win the highly coveted glass bowl and, far more important, the title of Mastermind. So, may I have our first contender, please? And your name is?
Ruth Atkin.
And your occupation?
I'm a retired marketing research consultant.
And your chosen subject?
Is Philip Pulman's Trilogy, His Dark Materials.
Philip Pulman's His Dark Materials. You have 2 minutes, starting now. What form did Lyra's demon Pantalaimon take when he first appeared in the opening chapter of Northern Lights?
He was a polecat.
No, he was a moth. In The Subtle Knife, what was Will's mother's most treasured possession which two men tried to steal from the family home?
Could you repeat that, please?
In The Subtle Knife, what was Will's mother's most treasured possession which two men tried to steal from the family home?
Her husband's letters.
Correct, letters in a green leather case. What was Mary Malone's most valuable possession which particularly fascinated the Mulefa in The Amber Spyglass?
Her hands.
Swiss Army knife. In The Subtle Knife, who was Angelica's brother with whom Will fought for possession of the knife in the Torre degli Angeli?
Paolo.
Tullio. The silver blade of the guillotine used to sever children from their demons is made from an alloy of manganese and which other metal?
Zinc.
Titanium. Mary Malone built the amber spyglass with lacquer tree sap and then smeared it with oil from which other tree?
The wheel tree.
Correct. In the amber spyglass, what was the name of the young village girl who was bringing food to Mrs. Coulter?
Armour.
Correct. When Metatron, the angel appointed Lord Regent for the authorities, was a man, what was his name?
Enoch.
Correct. In Northern Lights, what name does Yorick Bernison give to the metal from which he made his heavy armour?
Sky metal. Sky iron.
Yes. What in the amber spyglass was the name of the flying craft similar to a helicopter used by Lord Asriel's forces?
Gyropter.
Correct. In The Subtle Knife, what was the name of Will Parry's cat who saved his life?
Moxie.
Correct. Who was the clan queen of the witches of Lake Enara in The Amber Spyglass?
Serafina Pekkala.
It was. Which flower heads were always cooked and served after a feast at the college to make for rich conversation in Northern Lights?
Poppy.
Correct. What nickname did the people of Lyra's world give to members of the General Oblation Board? I've started, so I shall finish. Who were known to kidnap children?
Gobblers.
Gobblers is right. Ruth Atkin, you had no passes in that round. You scored a total of 10 points. And our second contender, please. And your name is?
Mike Smith.
Your occupation?
I'm a Baptist minister.
And your chosen subject?
Dark Age Western Europe, 400 to 800 AD.
You have 2 minutes on that subject, starting now. Which river at Mainz did a coalition of Vandals, Alans and Suevers cross in late 406 to begin the final breakdown of the Western Roman Empire?
The Rhine.
Correct. In which Italian city is the mausoleum of Theodoric the Amal located?
Ravenna.
Correct. With which Germanic people is the code of law known as the Edicticus Rothari of 643 associated?
Visigoths.
The Lombards. Which Irish saint created a monastic rule and founded the monasteries of Luxeuil in Burgundy and Bobbio in Italy?
Columbanus.
Correct. Which king of the Lombards lost his throne after being forced to surrender to Charlemagne in 774?
Desiderius.
Correct. At the turn of the 5th, 6th century, which saint baptised Clovis I and several thousand Franks at Rheims, thereby acquiring the title Apostle of the Franks?
Remigius.
Correct. What was the name of the younger son of Penda, who re-established Mercia's independence from Northumbria in 657 and supported the missionary activities of St. Chad?
Peada.
No, Wulfhere. Which 6th century historian and monk provided the only contemporary account of events in Britain of his own time?
Gildas.
Correct. Which king of the Lombards supposedly fashioned a drinking cup from the skull of his father-in-law and forced his wife Rosamund to drink from it?
Aistulf.
Alboin. According to St. Patrick's Confessio, who visited him in a dream to inspire him to convert the Irish?
Victricius.
Correct. Which invaders of the Western Empire were associated with the law code known as the Lex Gondobada?
The Lombards.
Burgundians. Against which section of Hispanic society did the 17th Council of Toledo direct its most striking legislation?
Jews.
Correct. Tassilo III, the ruler of Bavaria, who was deposed in 788 by Charlemagne, was a member of which dynasty?
Arnulfings.
Correct. Which Lombard historian visited Charlemagne on family business and became a member of his court?
Paul the Deacon.
Correct. Which member of the Umayyad dynasty fled from, I shall finish the question, fled from Asia and established an emirate at Cordoba in Spain in 756?
Tariq.
It was Abd ar-Rahman I. You had no passes in that round. You have scored, Mike Smith, a total of 10 points. Our third contender, please. And your name is?
David Radcliffe,
Your occupation?
software engineer,
And your chosen subject?
the life and music of George Gershwin.
George Gershwin, in 2 minutes, starting from now. As recorded on his birth certificate, what was the original forename of George Gershwin?
Jacob,
Correct. While working at Remix, to whom did Gershwin say, "Wouldn't it be wonderful if someday I could write a show and you and Adele could be in it"?
Fred Astaire,
Correct. The first movement of Concerto in F was written in the rhythm of which dance to represent the young, enthusiastic spirit of American life?
Charleston,
Correct. In which Gershwin musical did Ethel Merman make her Broadway debut as Frisco Kate?
Girl Crazy,
Correct. The romantic ballad Embraceable You, sung by Molly and Danny in Girl Crazy, had been salvaged from which musical aborted the year previous?
East is West,
Correct. In Paris in April 1928, Gershwin attended a ballet of Rhapsody in Blue, choreographed and performed by which dancer with the Ballet Russe?
Messine,
Anton Dollin. In the 1920s, who presented Gershwin with a photograph inscribed "From George to George"?
pass.
In February 1937, the Italian government elected Gershwin to which institution, the highest award they could give to a foreign composer?
Pass.
What was the working title under which George and Ira Gershwin began writing the RKO musical Shall We Dance?
Pass.
La La Lucille, the first musical for which Gershwin wrote the entire score, had its New York debut at which new theatre in May 1919?
Alvin Theatre,
The Henry Miller Theatre. In October 1933, with which company did Gershwin sign a contract to write Porgy and Bess?
pass.
Which of his cousins stayed with Gershwin on Folly Island near Charleston while he worked on Porgy through the summer of 1934?
Arthur,
Harry Botkin. What was the name of the amateur musical group organised by PS63 at which Gershwin played piano in early 1913?
pass.
Where in New York was the whole score of Porgy and Bess performed as a concert a week before it started its tryout in Boston?
Carnegie Hall,
Correct. In OK, what did Gershwin give to Gertrude Lawrence as a prop with which to sing Someone to Watch Over Me?
pass.
In 1925, under what title did Paul Whiteman revive George's one-act opera Blue Monday in a concert performance at Carnegie Hall?
135th Street,
135th Street is the correct answer. You had 6 passes there, David Radcliffe. In OK, Gershwin gave a Raggedy Ann doll, a rag doll. The name of the amateur musical group organised by PS63 was the Beethoven Society Orchestra. In October 33, the company Gershwin signed up with was the Theatre Guild. The working title under which they wrote the musical Shall We Dance was Watch Your Step, and the Italian government elected Gershwin to the Royal Academy of Santa Cecilia in Rome? And in the 20s, who presented Gershwin with a photograph inscribed from George to George? It was the Duke of Kent, who was also, of course, Prince George of England. You had those 6 passes. You scored 7 points. And our 4th contender, please. And your name is?
Jim Cook.
And your occupation?
Factory worker.
And your chosen subject?
US manned spaceflight 1961 to 1975.
Manned spaceflight in 2 minutes, starting now. Who was the last of the 12 American astronauts to walk on the surface of the moon?
Harrison Smith.
Eugene Cernan. On which mission did Edward White become the first American to walk in space?
Gemini 4.
Correct. Who made up the crew of the Skylab 4 mission in '73 with Gerald Carr and Edward Gibson?
Jack Lousmer.
William Pogue. What did the initials of the chosen route to the first moon landing, LOR, stand for?
Lunar Orbital Rendezvous.
Correct. With which type of rocket did Gemini 8 dock in March 1966, a rocket also used for several later docking manoeuvres?
Agena.
Correct. What was the name of the Mercury capsule in which John Glenn became the first American to orbit the Earth in February '62?
Friendship 7.
Correct. Ken Mattingly was replaced by Jack Swigert at short notice in the crew of Apollo 13 because of Mattingly's possible exposure to which disease?
German measles.
Correct. Which US Navy ship recovered Alan Shepard's capsule Freedom 7 when it splashed down 300 miles from Cape Canaveral?
Lake Champlain.
Correct. What name was given to the seated apartment in Houston where the Apollo 11 astronauts were quarantined after their return from the moon?
The Lunar Receiving Laboratory.
Correct. The flight of Gemini 5 was curtailed in August 1965 due to which hurricane?
Pass.
At what time, Greenwich Mean Time, did Neil Armstrong step out onto the surface of the moon in July 1969?
6 a.m.
No, 2:56 a.m. What was the name of the rocket which powered the first 2 manned non-orbital Mercury capsules?
Redstone.
Correct. Apollo 12 landed in the Ocean of Storms within 600 feet of which unmanned craft?
Surveyor. Surveyor 7.
Surveyor 3. Who was the only astronaut from the Mercury program subsequently to walk on the moon?
Alan Shepard.
It was. Who was the Chief of Flight Control Division and the Flight Director of Apollo 13, who headed the Tiger team that brought the astronauts back safely to Earth?
Gene Kranz.
Correct. What was the name of the Apollo 13 lunar landing module used as a space lifeboat to return to Earth?
Aquarius.
It was. In which US manned spacecraft was an onboard computer? I'll finish the question. Was an onboard computer used for the first time?
Gemini 3.
It was indeed. You had 1 pass. The flight of Gemini 5 was curtailed because of Hurricane Betsy. You have scored, Jim Cook, 12 points. And that brings us to the end of our first round, a pretty close round on specialist subjects. So let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 7 points, David Radcliffe. In joint 2nd place, 10 points, Ruth Atkin and Mike Smith. In the lead, just a couple of points in the lead with 12, Jim Cook. So we move on to round 2 now, our general knowledge round. And remember, if there is a tie at the end of this round, then the number of passes will be taken into consideration, and the contender with the fewest passes will be declared the winner. If there is still a tie on points, then there will be a 5-question playoff. So let's move on to the general knowledge round, and let me first ask David Radcliffe to join us again, please. And you had 7 points on George Gershwin. What is the appeal of George Gershwin?
My original background was much more straightforward classical music, and I thought it would be interesting to diversify a bit and choose a composer who was what we'd call now crossover. So he was a classical composer. He also wrote musicals, and he wrote the one opera, Porgy and Bess.
Do you go along with the idea that Gershwin was possibly the greatest songwriter?
I mean, I suppose I'd put him and Irving Berlin as perhaps the top. Well, him, Irving Berlin, and Cole Porter. It's a bit difficult probably to assign a hierarchy of those 3.
Well, there we are. You scored 7 points with George Gershwin. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge round. In 2 minutes, starting now, what is the name of the Cunard liner, the largest cruise ship ever built, launched by the Queen in January 2004?
Queen Mary II.
Correct. In the Christopher Robin books by A.A. Milne, what is Eeyore's favourite food?
Peanuts.
Thistles. What term, originally meaning the line of high ground separating two river basins, is now also used to describe the time before which items unsuitable for children should not be shown on television?
The watershed.
Correct. Which veteran stand-up comedian played Yorick in Kenneth Branagh's film version of Hamlet?
Pass.
What is the German word for bath, which frequently occurs in the names of European spa towns?
Bard.
Correct. Situated 10 miles off the west coast town of Girvan, which Scottish isle is nicknamed Paddy's Milestone?
Ailsa Craig.
Correct. Which tree and shrub with large showy flowers is named after Pierre Magnol, a French botanist?
Magnolia.
Correct. What title was used for the eldest son and heir apparent of the French king from 1349 to 1830?
Dauphin.
Correct. What name is given to the leathery capsules in which the eggs of skate, dogfish and rays are enclosed?
Roe.
No, the mermaid's purse. The trapezoid bone is found in which part of the human body?
The shoulder.
The hand. What is the name of the Scandinavian alcoholic drink distilled from potatoes or grain mash and filtered with charcoal?
Aquavit.
Correct. Which film production company was established in 1979 by Harvey and Bob Weinstein and named after their mother and father, Miriam and Max?
Miramax.
Correct. In football, which striker scored both of Brazil's goals in the 2002 World Cup final against Germany?
Ronaldo.
Correct. In which religion is a basil leaf laid on a corpse to ensure that they reach paradise?
Hinduism.
Correct. Bruce Springsteen's 1995 album The Ghost of Tom Joad takes its title from a character in which novel by John Steinbeck?
East of Eden.
No, the Grapes of Wrath. Which Egyptian goddess was the mother of Horus, sister of Seth and wife of Osiris?
Isis.
Correct. Which American city was the principal setting for the TV series Ally McBeal?
Boston.
Correct. A reticule is an old name for which item, I'll finish the question, for which item used mainly by women?
Handbag.
Yes, your first inclination was the right one. Handbag it was. You passed on only one of those questions. The veteran stand-up comedian who played Yorick was Ken Dodd.
I nearly said him, actually.
There we are. You had 7 points. You scored another 13. David Ratcliffe, you have 20 points. And now Ruth Atkin, please. You got 10 points, of course. We have 2 people on 10 points. Obviously, a great thirst for knowledge, so much so you've just done, or recently done, an Open University degree.
Yes.
Why did you want to do that?
Well, everybody asked me that because I was over 60 when I started. And I said, well, a fact today keeps Alzheimer's away, and it turns out to be true. But I did enjoy it. I was interested in politics and power.
Let's move on now to your general knowledge and see how you do with that. 2 minutes, starting now. What name was given to the British Mars spacecraft which disappeared while landing on the planet on Christmas Day 2003?
The Beagle.
It was Beagle 2. What is the proper name for the long-tailed leaping rodent of the family Dipodidae, after which British soldiers nicknamed themselves the Desert Rats?
Gerbil.
It was the jerboa. At the end of the 1997-98 season, who became the first continental football manager to win the Premiership?
Arsene Wenger.
Correct. What is sometimes referred to as Adam's Ale or Adam's Wine?
Water.
Correct. Located on the eastern slopes of the Rockies in Alberta and founded in 1885, which is Canada's oldest national park?
Yosemite.
Banff National Park. Which Irish group had their first British top 10 hit in May 98 with a cover version of the Fleetwood Mac song Dreams?
The Cause.
Correct. The colourless poisonous gas arsine is composed of arsenic and which other element?
Helium.
Hydrogen. Which 17th century Flemish painter gave his name to a type of wide collar, shades of red and brown and a trim pointed beard?
Van Dyck.
Correct. With which play did John Osborne first achieve theatrical success?
Look Back in Anger.
Correct. Who did Hitler appoint as Reichsführer of his elite corps, the SS, in 1929?
Himmler.
Correct. Passer domesticus is the Latin name of which small, formerly common, species of bird?
And the sparrow.
Yes. Mary Phelps Jacob, who used the business name Caress Crosby, is generally credited with the invention of which item of women's underwear?
French knickers.
No, the brassiere. Which word for the longest and shortest days of the year is derived from the Latin words for the sun and to stand?
Solstice.
Correct. In which 1998 blockbuster did Bruce Willis play the oil driller Harry Stamper, who saves the world from destruction by an asteroid?
Could you repeat that, please?
In which 1998 blockbuster did Bruce Willis play the oil driller Harry Stamper, who saves the world from destruction by an asteroid?
Independence Day.
Armageddon. There we are. You had no passes during that round either. You now have a total of 18 points. And now Mike Smith, please. So, another 10-pointer. You got yours with Western Europe in the Dark Ages. Do we not call them Dark Ages sort of just because the Roman civilization ended and nothing took its place?
Well, it was a term that was invented, I think, by the Victorians, who had a rather sort of rigid view of history. There was quite a lot that was very bright and innovative. I mean, the technology of some of the so-called barbarians was pretty good, and there were some pretty smart people around who was certainly equal of some of those before and after.
But we're agreed that Dark Ages, no.
They weren't half as dark as some people would make out.
Well, you scored 10 points with your Dark Ages. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge round now. 2 minutes, starting now. Which historic city situated 600 miles southeast of Tehran was devastated by an earthquake in December 2003?
Balm.
Correct. Which American motor manufacturer lost around $250 million with its Edsel model launched in 1957?
Ford.
Correct. After the death of King Arthur, which knight threw the sword Excalibur into the lake at Arthur's request?
Sir Bedivere.
Correct. Which Roman poet's works include the Ars Amatoria and the Metamorphoses?
Ovid.
Correct. Who, after winning the Japanese Grand Prix in 1998, became the second Finnish driver to be world motor racing champion?
Kimi Räikkönen.
No, Häkkinen. Which of the Impressionist painters from 1880 began to sculpt bronze figures, including the little 14-year-old dancer?
Pass.
On which plants did Gregor Mendel perform his experiments which laid the mathematical foundation of the science of genetics?
Peas.
Correct. Mount Logan is the highest peak in which Commonwealth country?
Canada.
Correct. Who resigned as Minister of Labour in the Attlee government in 1951 over the imposition of charges for false teeth and spectacles?
Bevan.
Correct. In the poem by A.A. Milne, which 13th century king asked Father Christmas for a big red India rubber ball?
King John.
Correct. In the British pop music industry, what do the letters M-O-B-O stand for?
Pass.
Which film comedian is associated with the phrase, any man who hates dogs and babies can't be all bad?
W.C. Fields.
Correct. The leaves of which wildflower are used in France for a salad de pissenlit?
Dandelion.
Correct. The daughters of Professor Archimedes Q. Porter, Jane Porter, was the legendary girlfriend of which fictional hero?
Raffles.
Tarzan. In brewing, what name is given to the glutinous substance often made from isinglass, which is used in cask-conditioned beers to attract yeast particles to the bottom of the cask?
Pass.
Beethoven left his hometown of Bonn in 1792 to study with which composer in Vienna?
Haydn.
Haydn, you got it in just in time. You had 3 passes, Mike Smith. That substance they use in brewing is finings. The M-O-B-O initials stand for music of black origin. And the Impressionist painter we were looking for was Degas. You have scored, with your earlier 10 points, a total of 21 points. And now, Jim Cook, if he would please. So, you're leading at the end of our last round, and you're a factory worker. Correct. What do you do?
Well, the firm I work for make climbing frames for children.
Children still use climbing frames, then?
Apparently they do, yes, quite a lot. I work on a machine most of the time that punches metal.
Good to know that they do something outdoors.
Yes.
This fascination with space flight, a lot of people say, why do we bother? It costs a fortune, and what does it achieve?
I think that's a rather simplistic question. I think it presumes that during the period we were talking about, the Americans would actually have spent that money on something else, and that something else would have been necessarily of any greater value. These sort of people tend to assume that it would be spent on alleviating world poverty or something similar, when I rather suspect it would probably be used to have bombed Vietnam with even greater ferocity.
Would you like to go up there?
Would I like to go? I've got no coordination, no mathematical ability, so I don't really think I'm going to anyway. So I think that's not going to happen, you know.
Well, you scored 12 points
Yes.
the last time around. Let's see how you do with the general knowledge section. And here we go, 2 minutes starting now. In which game might you use the Sicilian defence?
Chess.
Correct. Guitarist David Evans of the rock group U2 is more usually known by what name?
The Edge.
Correct. In ancient history, who built a city the site of which is thought to be in Pakistan in memory of his horse Bucephalus when it died there in 326 BC?
Alexander the Great.
Correct. According to the proverb, what type of words butter no parsnips?
Kind.
Fine or soft or fair. Which French artist is buried on the island of Hiva Oa in the Marquesas Islands?
Gauguin.
Correct. In rugby league, which sporting trophy named after a former player and coach is awarded to the man of the match in the Challenge Cup final?
Lance Todd.
Correct. Which opera house in the grounds of John Christie's country house in Sussex opened in 1934 with a performance of The Marriage of Figaro?
Glyndebourne.
Correct. In Greek mythology, who was the twin sister of Apollo and the goddess of the hunt, wild animals, chastity and childbirth?
Diana.
Artemis. Which poet laureate born in Meidhelmroyd, West Yorkshire, is commemorated by a granite memorial near the source of the Tor on Dartmoor?
Ted Hughes.
Correct. What term is used to describe rubber heated with sulphur to toughen it?
Vulcanised.
Correct. In Party Mood was the signature tune of which radio request programme that ran from 1946 to 1967?
Housewife's Choice.
It was. Kefalonia and Corfu are respectively the largest and second largest of which group of Greek islands?
Dodecanese.
The Ionian, who during his time at the Department of the Environment from 1704 to 79 was made Minister for Drought and Minister for Snow.
Dennis Howells.
He was. Who won a Best Actress Oscar for a role as Queen Eleanor of Aquitaine in the 1968 film The Lion in Winter?
Katharine Hepburn.
She was. Which South American country's flag features a sphere bearing a motto translating as order and progress?
Brazil.
It was. What name is given to a stag with 12 points on its antlers?
A Royal.
Yes. Which Toronto-born pianist who died aged 50 in 1982 gave up a successful concert career in 1964 to work exclusively in the recording studio?
Oscar Peterson.
No Glenn Gould. Jim Cook, you had no passes in that round. You have scored 25 points.
Thank you.
So, at the end of the general knowledge round, a pretty close one, let's have a look at the scores. In fourth place, with 18 points, is Ruth Atkin. In third place, with 20 points, David Ratcliffe. Second place, with 21 points, Mike Smith. In first place, 25 points, Jim Cook. So that means that Jim Cook goes through to the next round and moves a step closer to becoming our Mastermind champion. Congratulations to him. Do please join us next time for more Masterminds. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Well, a thrilling conclusion to Stephen Polyakoff's Dancing on the Edge tonight on BBC Two, with Louis' attempts to escape the manhunt becoming ever more desperate at 9.